I got a ridiculous amount of books this quarter. Hey guys, it's Abby. I do quarterly hauls on my channel for my books, just so it makes it more interesting, considering in May I got one book. So it balances it out a bit. And I have a decent little stack here that is gonna fall over. So let's dive straight into them. First up, for July, I got The Five by Hallie Rubenhold. I've since read this. This is a non-fiction book about the victims of Jack the Ripper. I picked this up because it was on sale in Asda's in Portsmouth for like £4 and I couldn't resist. So yeah, this is an amazing book. I really do recommend it. I'll be speaking more about it in the future and you will be able to see it in my September wrap-up. Cathy's book by Stuart, Weismann and Brigg. This is the first book in a series that I've owned since I was somewhere between 12 and 15. I got them in the US. And this is the first time I've been able to get my hands on the first book. I've read it, I liked it. It is a fantastical, supernatural, contemporary thriller with, this pocket here has evidence in it, so you take it out and it's got like napkins and receipts and like diary entries and things like that. It's really cool, really interesting, and I'm glad I finally have it. I found this in a charity shop in Portsmouth, in the British Heart Foundation on the High Street, which has moved since I went to uni there. We were in Portsmouth for my graduation, so this is when I picked this one up. Then we go into August, and this is where I have 3 books from Carrie, from Caring for Books. She will be linked down below. She is the reason for half of my TBR. First up, we have We Hunt the Flame by Hafsah Faizal. I've heard fantastic things about this book, but oh my god, the writing is tiny and it's a thick boy. It's like 500 pages with tiny writing, so. This is I believe it's a YA fantasy. I've heard great things, so I want to read it. Then she got me The Book Jumper, which is by Mechthild Gläser. This is a book where you can jump into different books. A bit like the first one I read of this, like properly, was The Air Affair by Jasper Fforde, so that will always be like my baseline. It's a fantastic series, the Thursday Next series. But yes, so similar to that, you can jump into books and it goes from there, which sounds really interesting. And then this one is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss, and this one mixes in like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde and Frankenstein and loads of other kind of gothic romance books. So it sounds really, really interesting. I need to read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde before I can read this one, but it's a gorgeous cover. It's fluffy. Thank you so much, Carrie, for those books. I'm so excited to read them. Continuing in August, 2 books that I bought myself. The first one is The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna, with these gorgeous sprayed edges, and the second one is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, again with these sprayed edges. I picked these both up in Tesco's in York. I was down there bed shopping to kind of get things set up for the new house, and I couldn't resist when I saw these. So this is a YA West African fantasy, and this is a middle grade magical school fantasy. This one, if your blood is gold, you're like outcast and they all like band together and are like fuck you. And this one, I think, is like a magic. Yes, to save her brother Quentin, who has gone missing. They're gorgeous. I'm so excited to read them. Then we move on to September. So first up is kind of odd. So Five Forget Mother's Day by Bruno Vincent. This is a parody of The Famous Five. The reason that it's odd is that I actually got my mum this for Mother's Day a couple of years back now. And she decided that she had read it, she enjoyed it, and she no longer wanted to keep it. My parents don't keep books after they read them. But I am collecting all of these. I have all of the original 21 Famous Five books by Enid Blyton, and I'm slowly collecting all of these ones as well. So I was like, I know I gifted you it, but you're getting rid of it. Can I have it to add to the collection? And she said yes. I've not read it yet, so this is now something on my TBR, but it is a nice short read, 103 pages long, so I'm sure I'll manage. Then we have 3 books gifted to me by Caitlin, because she's an absolute fiend. So first up we have a man called Ove by Frederik Bachman. So Veronica from Veronica's Shelf. You need to tell me how to say this, please, or I need to ask my other Swedish friend, Annie. I'm this close to messaging Annie and just being like, send me a voice message of what this is, please. I don't know how to say it. So, A Man Called Ove is going to be my guess for now. I'm aware it's wrong. This is a contemporary, which is about a little old man who is very grumpy, and we follow his life for a bit. And Caitlin gifted me this because she wants to force me to read it, and Buddy read it with me. Then The Cauldron of Life by Caroline Logan. This is the second book in the Four Treasures series. So Caitlin gifted me the Stone of Destiny anyway, and I read it and I loved it, and she knows that I want to continue on with the series, and I just haven't got around to picking this up yet, and book 3 is coming out soon, so she decided to take matters into her own hands and get me this. So fingers crossed I'll have actually read this in September. As I'm filming, it's near to the end of September, so I haven't quite gotten around to picking this one up yet, but the first book was an absolute speed through for me, so fingers crossed for this one as well. This is a Scottish folklore series written by Caroline Logan, who is Scottish, and it's absolutely beautiful. I adored the character development in the first book, as well as the inclusion of all the different mythologies. So I'm very excited to read book 2. Another book that she wants to force me to read is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. If you follow Caitlin, as with Carrie, she will also be linked down in the description below. She's obsessed with Virginia Woolf and she's read like 2 books from her. So this is her making me read a Virginia Woolf book. I know nothing about this book other than Caitlin loved it and Connor hated it from Connor's Thumbnail. So we'll see how I feel. And then last but by no means least, I was actually sent a book by the publishers prior to its release, which was incredibly exciting. So the only other people that I've seen online who've also gotten this book are all Scottish booktubers, which makes sense because, right way around, it is The Sword of Light by Caroline Logan, the 3rd book in the Four Treasures series. This isn't published until the 7th of October. I'm not sure when I'm releasing this. It's currently the 23rd of September. And this isn't published until the 7th of October. So I'm not sure when this video is going up, but I have it prior to publication. I'm very excited. So yes, Chronicle Publishing sent this to me, as well as some Scottish booktubers. I interact with quite a few Scottish booktubers. I'm half Scottish and I live, at the moment, reasonably close to the border. So I do have quite a few Scottish booktube friends, but I still feel quite special as the only English person to get this, as far as I know. Also, am I English? British. I prefer British. But yes, so this is the 3rd book in the series. I'm not going to read the synopsis of this because, as you know, I haven't yet read the 2nd one. I'm wanting to read the 2nd one at the end of September, and then this one in the beginning of October before its publication date. So you will see some more content from me about this series. Thank you so much Chronicle Publishing and Caroline Logan for the opportunity to have an early edition of this. You should have heard me and Caitlin when they arrived at the post, because we got them on the same day. We were screaming. So yes, I am so excited to have this, and also then very grateful that Caitlin had the foresight to send me book 2 so that I could actually catch up. I would have bought the ebook. I need to stop filming these before the quarter is over because, as always, I have another book to add. So I wasn't entirely sure when this was going to turn up. Obviously it arrived at the end of September, and that is Regeneration, Ending the Climate Crisis in One Generation by Paul Hawken. This was sent to me by Penguin Environment. This is pretty self-explanatory with the cover there. It's a coffee table book with some very interesting articles in it and some gorgeous photographs. If you don't know at all, this is very much my jam. This is something that I studied a bit in university and I'm very passionate about, and so I am looking forward to delving into this, learning a little bit more, learning and like reading some articles that are included in here and seeing different ideas of how we can actually do something to stop the climate crisis. I have already taken a bit of a look through it. I've not read it in full just because of the nature of the book, but there are some really interesting points in here, and also I like this one section which says, "It is not your job to save the planet. The idea of saving the Earth is a heavy burden and you can't do it anyway." Saving the planet is not about everyone suddenly having to go vegan and using only reusable products and changing their energy supplies to being all from renewable sources. Yeah, those are all fantastic things, but what we really need to do is get corporations to take accountability. Pick it up. This was published as of the 14th of September, in the UK at least. I do apologise, I'm not 100% sure about other locations, but definitely go and check this one out. Those are the books that I got. Ta-da! So this is my 3rd quarter haul. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 books. And I've read 2 of them. I haven't read a single book that I bought in, or received, in August or September. But I read the 2 that I got in July. 2 of these should be read possibly before this video goes up. So that sorts that. I want to read one of these at the end of September if I can squeeze it in. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. That is my that is my 3rd quarter haul. Let me know, folks, if you've got any amazing books in the past 3 months, and if you've done any book hauls yourself. Link them down below and I'll go watch them. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe to see more of my content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! I thought, oh, I'll film somewhere different. I'll film downstairs in the living room. I have to bring everything up and down.